up? It's Way Up with Angela Yee. I'm Angela Yee, and my girl is here, Davonne Reaves. Okay, you know her from the Vaughn Group, but she is a hotel owner. You own 3 hotels.
That is correct.
And you are always trying to get me to invest in hotel ownership. But you actually have 2 people with you. This is a whole trifecta when it comes to investing in hotel ownership. All right, so we have Damon Smith here. And Damon, you are you are the owner of Synergy Management.
Synergy Hospitality Management, yes, ma'am.
Synergy Hospitality Management, which, what do you do?
So we are a third-party management company. So we manage hotels for hotel owners, and we're also hotel investors as well, myself and my wife.
Okay, how many hotels?
Currently, we're managing 4, and we have 3 in pipeline under contract to transact by the end of August.
Okay, and Omari Head is here. You are a hotel broker.
Correct.
Okay, so explain like that. I mean, it sounds self-explanatory, but I'd like to hear it from you.
No, absolutely. So what I do is 2 hats. One is I help people sell their hotels, primarily what I do. So just like you always tell people, if you think about real estate, specifically hotels, you've rarely ever seen a for sale sign in front of it. They do sell, so it's a relationship-based industry. And then the other hat I wear is I do acquisitions consulting for first-time, high net worth, Black, Latino, Latinx families looking to get in, that they're capitalized, they just don't want to lose their shirt and go into it the wrong way. I help them with their acquisition.
Ooh. Now, when it comes to hotel ownership, what percentage of Black people are hotel owners, Davonne?
So there are actually over 59,000 hotels in the United States, and less than 1% of the hotels are owned by Black people. Less than probably 0.5%. It's probably owned by Black women.
That is insane, because we definitely stay at some hotels.
We stay at some hotels.
And we definitely work at hotels.
So there was a report that was put out, I think it was by MMG Global, that was put out in 2019, I believe. And as a Black community, the Black travel dollar was over 109 billion dollars? What was it, 109? Yeah, it was a big number. But yet we own less than 1%. So we're not even really circulating that money
in our communities,
within our communities. And so I'm on a mission. Actually, all 3 of us, we're on a mission to increase that. So I have courses, I have the book.
How to Buy a Hotel.
How to Buy a Hotel. I've launched a platform called Vestor. It's a crowdfunding platform where individuals or sponsors can raise capital or equity for their hotel. And one of the main reasons I created Vestor, so folks can actually invest in it. You can invest in properties as little as $5,000. Typically, investing in hotels is a minimum of 7 figures or a very high 6 figures. And I saw that there was an opportunity for our community, because there are people who do want to diversify their investment portfolio, and they're capitalized to actually invest or own. And so that's why I wanted to make sure that I see people who look like me, in the ownership space. I'm glad that at these ownership conferences, that's actually why we're here in New York right now. There's more and more people who are looking like us. When I'm in the boardrooms, I want to see more people who look like me. I want to see more owner representation. And the reason why, because owners make decisions.
Right.
We can put people in jobs. If somebody wants to actually do business with the hotel, meaning, put their soaps, put their coffee.
Yeah, and that's a big deal.
Put their coffee.
Hey, I'm here.
Oh, I'm gonna get you in there, boo. Don't worry.
Yeah, because there's a lot of things. And look, I own an Airbnb. That's nowhere near owning a hotel, but on a smaller scale, you see what is necessary, with the towels, with the robes, with the slippers, with the toiletries, but having all of those things that are available for your guests when they check in.
Yeah. Exactly. And a lot of those amenities can be Black owned or minority owned. And so I saw that there was an opportunity, and now I'm in a position, and I've created a community and a platform. And the brands and they've been seeing it. They're brands, hotel brands that have diversity programs. Choice has the emerging markets. Well, now it's Soar. Wyndham has Bold and Women on the Room, and IHG has the Lift program. And so they're really starting to see that opportunity of diverse hotel owners, and they're working with folks like myself to get the message out there.
Yeah, I see Wyndham is actually sponsoring this hotel ownership tour.
Right. Yep. They're one of the sponsors.
That's why you're here for New York, and then Belize, and then New Orleans.
Yep. So IHG, I had an Atlanta stop. IHG did the Atlanta stop. Wyndham, they're doing a New York stop. And then we're going to be staying at some Hilton properties in the future stops.
Okay, I see. We spread the love around.
We spread the love around, baby.
Now, you also used to work at a hotel, right? I want to see. This is why this is an important conversation. It's like, you know how to own a Chick-fil-A, you have to work at one,
right?
And I do feel like the experience of having worked at a hotel probably helped you a lot, in wanting to see that. Because my first question would be, what made you decide, being that less than 0.5% of Black women are hotel owners, what made you even think this is something that's possible?
You know what? When I started off working as a front desk agent, I didn't even know I could own a hotel. Did y'all know that y'all could starting off? Not really.
Not at first, no.
Yeah,
didn't even understand the franchise model.
All three of us worked in hotels.
Hotel school grads,
we just did, because we were trained to work, and probably the highest position we thought we could get would be a general manager.
Yeah, the manager. Yeah,
we didn't.
I was advanced. I was going to be a regional vice president.
Okay,
that's where I saw
was thinking big.
Yeah, I was thinking big.
I was like, I'm just going to be. No, really, I was like, I'm just going to be a director of sales. That's really, I was like, I just want to be a director of sales and marketing. And so it wasn't, Amari and I, we actually met in this organization called the American Hotel Lodging Association under 30 Gateway. So it was for professionals, hotel professionals under the age of 30. And we had a board meeting in New York. We met every year in New York at a hotel show. And there were folks from the Indian community, and they were under the age of 30. And I was like, well, what do you do? Oh, I own hotels. Wait, what? You own a hotel? I mean, they inherited. They left that part out. I found out later on. But, they were developing and owning hotels. And that's when the light bulb just went off, and I just became passionate. And I was like, I'm going to own a hotel. I didn't know how I was going to do it. There wasn't YouTube like it is now, wasn't podcast like it is now. You couldn't, listen to your show and try to, connect with someone. And so I just, just got hungry, and people thought I was crazy because they was like, girl, you working at the front desk, you ain't got no money. How you going to own a hotel? I don't know, but I'm going to own it.
And for all of you guys, I want to ask that question too. And getting into this space, what was that journey like for your first, hotel? I know you have ownership in hotels, but what was that journey like, getting into your first hotel ownership?
I'll let you go first.
You let me go first?
Yes,
Okay. Just cliff note, I started in the hotel business at the age of 17 as a bellman and a dishwasher in Mobile, Alabama, which is my hometown.
Okay.
C student. And I think looking at life from there to now, C's get degrees, baby.
See your way through it, Claire.
C's get these deeds. C's get deeds. So I think my first opportunity came through a mutual acquaintance that I was doing some consulting for. I had worked my way up to the kind of above property level as a regional vice president with a company based in Richmond, Virginia, and I was talking to this guy, and he was in a tight. He had lost a partner. He needed some cash real bad. Needed a refinance. He couldn't afford to refinance. He was really just grasping for straws. And me and my wife started talking. Shout out to Crystal, because she stood behind it, and she said, baby, if you believe in this, then let's do it. And that's exactly what happened. We invested the money, and it turned into an amazing property that we not only bought into from an ownership standpoint, but it was our first asset under management for our management company. So Synergy Hospitality Group was born at the Country Inn and Suites in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
absolutely.
God is good, man. You cannot.
All the time. That is so good.
I mean,
so good.
and risk. I mean, as people of color, and I'll be brief, and I'll let Amara go, but we're so risk averse in our communities, and because we don't do the research, and we go find the person that's the smartest person closest to us.
Right.
And I started reaching out to people outside of me and my circle. And I found people like Amari, and Amari introduced me to Davonne, and we've been introduced and created a very unique ecosystem of high intellectual people who all like to have fun, but love to serve and have passions for it.
And I also look at us being risk averse because a lot of times, we might be the first ones that are actually investing in and making money. So it is scary because it's not like a lot of us have anybody to fall back on.
Exactly.
If this doesn't work, then a lot of times it's like building yourself back up. Exactly. There's people who can fail and fail forward. And a lot of times for us, it's like there's a lot of people that are relying on us and
Right,
think about that
exactly.
too.
So
So
we can-
it is hard to think about, that mindset, but it's important, right? Because with a greater risk comes a greater reward, but sometimes it is just so hard to make that leap. And Omari, let's talk about that with you and how you got into this space also and your work in hotels.
Yeah, so I first got introduced to it. I'll never forget, my brother went to Cornell University, top hotel program. He did not go to a hotel program. He was super smart, did engineering. And my mom was like, you like to travel, you like to eat, you ever thought about hospitality?
Okay, Mom.
And I'm like, oh, that's a job? And I'm like, I'm fat and I like to travel. Like, we can do this. So from that point on, I was committed to hospitality. Fast forward, I had another brother, and he worked in hotel business, and his brother got him into the hotel business. And his hotel at the time had the contract for a Jerry Springer show. So I'm like a kid, I used to sit in the lobby, and it's like you get to see the guests. So It was super wild. He had great stories.
They'd be like, I just was with you last night in the hotel.
Yeah. Right, and I'm in the lobby like, ooh, that's true. Like I can see it on the episode later on. And I mean, he got us to the front of the line of Rainforest
With a
Cafe.
sexy decoy in the hotel.
Look, all of the things. I was not the decoy, by the way. We just want to put that out there. I don't want that to live on the internet. But he said, Omari, if you're gonna do this, do it the right way. Like I have a ceiling, and he wasn't privileged enough to go to college the same way that I did. Went to University of Nevada, Las Vegas, chased it down, worked and opened the Spa Tower at the Bellagio, VIP services at the Rio. So big box gaming, opening consultant for the Win. This is all my undergraduate experience.
Damn.
And I was just like, so by the time I had a very extensive resume, came out, did a management training program in Chicago. GFC happens, great financial crisis. And then I moved out to DC. My partner, she was applying to PhD program. So we had to kind of figure that out. We made it work, and we went to DC. And the best thing ever about great financial crisis, I bought a house. Mm-hmm. And the previous sales price for the house was like $369,000. I got for like $169,000.
Wow!
And why that was so important was because I was able to ride that up. And when I used that home equity line of credit to invest in my first hotel deal. Now, I've always wanted to get into brokerage, and a big piece of that is that, again, like I said, it's a relationship-based industry. So if you are looking to find diverse and new owners, you have to have somebody from that community. And I looked around and I'm like, there's not any Black hotel brokers. Mm-hmm. And when I asked a few people, I'm like, have you ever met one? Like I was literally trying to find the plug. Like, have you met a Black hotel broker? And they're like, man, I heard about one. It was like very elusive. Yeah, it was. Yeah. It was very elusive. So I was like, okay, I'm going to make that jump or take that risk. Yeah. Right. Because again, this is commission only. And so when I jumped into that world, I saw that a lot of it was not just access to capital. It was, I beat the drums more so access to information. Yeah. So when I can have these conversations with people, there's like, okay, you flip houses and you do this, or you have a retail business and you do it. You ever thought about hotel ownership? And by the way, I can show you how to value this. Mm-hmm. I can help you do that. I can help you acquire it. Being that conduit for information was just, that's been game changing. And that's what, the ecosystem that we build, and Davonne having the biggest microphone, being the biggest champion for that. I mean, we continue to appreciate that. So that was my story into kind of how I got into being a brokerage and advisor in the consultancy, because I've also seen people from our community get into it the wrong way. Mm-hmm. And it's been because
that's what gets scary.
When we don't know the business, people prey on that because people realize that we do have the capital, and they're just like, oh, wait a minute. And they'll sell you whatever. Mm-hmm. And then they forgot to tell you like, oh, such and such, the airport entrance is relocating, or something that you didn't do your research on that the right consultant and advisor could have helped you through. And then somebody sold you that and you're left holding the bag and it's an empty bag.
Oh, and Davonne, speaking to what Omari just said earlier too about you rarely see a for sale sign on a hotel. Explain that, because is the business that great that just tell me why that is?
Well, like he said, for one, it's a relationship business and it's a commercial asset, right? So, and also hotels is an operating business sitting on real estate. Mm-hmm. And so typically you want to work with someone that's specialized in that field, and there's not an MLS for hotels.
Correct. Yes.
Right. There's not like a central location. Like if you want to buy a house,
you have access
to it, right? A hotel, you just can't go, you can Google it, but there's not like one central place where you can go. You can go to LoopNet, you can go to Craigslist, but there's not one central place. And as far as like a for sale sign, they'll call up a broker, they'll call up Omari. And actually, the Indian community probably owns over 50% of the hotels in the United States.
Who knew? I did not know that.
And so, you know, they can just pick up the phone and call their cousin if they want to sell it.
Yeah.
Right. Keep it, yeah.
They could just keep it in the family. And so and then the common person buying a hotel wouldn't even just cross their mind.
It's not on the radar.
It's not on the radar.
Listen, until it's not something I even thought about. I was thinking about the salamander in D.C. too.
Yeah.
In
Oh,
DC.
Sheila's Johnson.
Sheila's property.
Yes. So I remember, and that was the Mandarin Oriental. And I
Correct.
stayed there, last time that I was in DC. And I was like, okay, that's amazing.
And
Like-
her story is amazing because the fact that she not only did Miss Johnson create a hotel brand, but she created a hotel luxury brand.
Yeah.
And an
So-
experience. I
know,
would say that.
it's
an
very
experience.
luxurious.
Very
Yeah.
luxury, and she created an amazing team.
Yeah.
And so the fact that, by her opening doors for someone like myself, even though I would never get into luxury, that's just not my space. But
Why is that?
and that's a good point. The reason why it's not my space, because it depends on your strategy on where you want to go into hotel ownership. Luxury hotels has a lot of amenities, right? A lot of labor. Because you have to service the guests. When you go to a luxury hotel, the Mandarin Oriental, the Salamander, you want to take advantage of the spa. You want room service. You want
Sounds like me.
you want stuff brought up when you come home when you come back to your room from the spa. You would love the chocolate. You want the turn down service.
I need all of that.
You need all of that. You just want to pick up the call and pick up the phone and say, you know what, I don't feel like going downstairs and getting my towels.
Right.
That's okay because they're going to bring it up to you. But everything that I just said has a cost.
Yeah, it does.
So by the time, from an ownership perspective, all of those different line items is being taken away from the revenue.
Okay.
So I prefer extended stay or limited service hotels, and the reason why, because they don't have as many amenities.
Okay.
From an ownership perspective.
Got
so
it.
right, so a hotel like a Hampton Inn or Home 2 Suites, those type of hotels. When you stay there, you're getting a comfortable bed, shower, and some
A
waffles.
nice clean hotel.
Nice clean hotel. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what.
The DoubleTree, you might get some warm cookies.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
Never forget that. I will go to DoubleTree to get a cookie.
so you remember it's
Yeah.
that, and it's
That
that
sugar
brand,
pill.
and it's,
Yeah.
exactly, and it's that brand standard. Now, some folks, they may not, depending on your appetite, you may not want to stay at an economy hotel, but they're great to own. Right. And the reason why, because there's not as many amenities. When I'm talking about a Super 8 or Microtel, those type of hotels, that's how people build their portfolio, and that's really how the Indian community owns over 50 to 60% of the hotels from that model I just
Right, because it's
demonstrated,
not
the
as many
economy.
luxury hotels at all either,
Yeah.
as far as
Plus, it takes a lot of money to
Yeah.
own,
Yes,
and it
yes.
takes a lot of money to renovate.
High fixed costs.
Because even with a luxury hotel, because it's a certain level of service, you have to have 24-hour room service, and even
although I will say they don't anymore. I feel like a lot of hotels
Some
now,
hotels, yeah.
especially after COVID,
after COVID, a lot of things
a
changed.
lot of things have changed,
Yeah.
and I want to talk about your opportunity that you saw to get into the hotel business, because I know we've discussed this previously, but for you, Davonne, how did that happen for you?
It happened for me, basically. I took a non-paid internship for my my daddy, God bless his soul. He did not do free. You had to work.
Right, you getting paid.
And he didn't believe in volunteering, because everybody should get paid. That's how my dad was. Okay, he was old school.
I like that.
No. And so when I told him that, it didn't make sense to him. And so I worked there in the morning for free, and I worked at the Hyatt at night, because I got my start off at the Hyatt Regency Atlanta. So this was after graduation, but I was so determined in becoming a hotel owner. And so I found an opportunity to work for hotel owners, because in my mind, that's the best way to learn about hotel ownership is from a hotel owner.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's probably been like the best experience I could have ever had. And it's so funny, my old boss was at the conference that we're at. And that's how I built relationships. That's how I understood the process. That's how I understood the development. And I understood the money. The biggest part of a hotel is the money part.
the
money
And
part.
understanding the financing part. And understood that a lot of people really don't use their own money to buy hotels, including billionaires.
Did you use your own money when you first started?
No. We used it was all through private capital.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yep, yeah. So we partnered up and we raised capital through my investors. They're my family forever. I love them because
Absolutely.
for them to invest with me, even though I had hotel experience and even though I worked in asset management, working on behalf of owners, is different when you take that risk and you do it on your own.
Yes.
It's different. It's just completely different. And so for the fact that they took, and they didn't even meet me. These are people
wow.
who met, because this was during COVID.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember you told me again that it was, opportunity during COVID.
It was an opportunity during COVID. And so they believed in me, never met me. I didn't even meet my business partner. We buying an $8.3 million hotel. We didn't meet until
And where
the
was
next
this?
year.
Where is this
in
hotel?
El Reno, Oklahoma. Yep. In El Reno, Oklahoma. We bought it for $8.3 million. And the investors, and how I was able to find investors, I just kept talking about hotel ownership. I kept talking, and then people reached out. It was an opportunity. People reached out and they invested. Of course, I was shocked. I was like, what? And so, because it's different, and it's people that you don't. My family didn't want to invest.
Right.
Now it's a different story. Now, girl, what you got now? But
people after it works, they'd be like, "Why you didn't hit me up to
Absolutely.
I
Absolutely.
did. Right. I tried. I sent you the pitch deck. You went ghost. But and so the fact that they invested, and it's so crazy how God works, because my first investors, now they're on their second hotel. And so they're adding to that. He's about to manage it. And so so the fact because it's such a beautiful experience because
It is.
Omari and I we talked about this in 2018, 2019, and I remember when I was like, man, I'm gonna talk about hotel ownership. He was like, nah, they ain't ready, Davonne. They ain't ready. Our people ain't ready. And I was like, man, I'm gonna do it. And it's the crazy how we had these conversations, and we're here with you now with Miss B, Angela Yee. Like, it's just amazing that we're here talking about Black hotel ownership. And folks are coming up to me and they're having these conversations.
Yeah, I read about you
reunion.
before I met you, and that's how I
Girl,
even knew.
when I heard you say my name, I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I just
read
want to say I
about you.
appreciate the transparency, because when she's talked
Absolutely.
about having investors, they lead with kind of like, it's me.
Yeah, they all have investors.
Yeah,
Every single
and
last one.
Yeah,
that
because
level is rare.
$8.3 million is, I
lot-
can't
it's
even.
a lot of
And
money.
Damon, you're getting emotional, and so I would love for you to jump in, just because I feel like there's something that you want to.
I think, I'm a very spiritual person. And as she's talking, as Amari's talking, there's a theme. There's a theme of faith.
Yeah.
Because when you're doing something that nobody else believes that you can do, and everybody tells you no,
Yeah.
but you know that you have been called and anointed to do what you're doing.
Yeah.
That resolute, the necessity to be resolute in the face of every mountain that's in front of you. One of the things that gravitated me towards Davonne is her undying commitment to not just being a hotel owner, but the education platform.
Right.
Yeah.
Same thing with Amari. We're all very fervent readers, and we love the educational process, and we're passionate about the industry. So she's talking about two of her investors that started off as investors with her. We just took over their first hotel, solo hotel in Memphis. And we're getting ready to take over their second hotel, their first full service hotel, my first full service hotel under management in July. And I get emotional because I think back when I was washing those dishes.
Yeah.
And I don't give nothing for my journey.
Right.
And I just, it's just an amazing feeling when you trap it out with your tribe.
Yeah.
You know what I'm
That's a
saying?
fact.
Yeah.
That's a
When
fact.
you trap it out with your tribe, and these people, Amari called me, Davonne called me, hey, I talked to such and such, you need to call them. They're going to call you. I just want to make sure you're all right with it. Amari, hey, bro, I need to bounce something off of you. It's not common. It's not common, especially in our communities, that we have these types of groups and these types of dynamic personalities, and we can all be humbled in front of one another because we respect what the other person does. And that's what makes the ecosystem of it all work. So this isn't just something that happened overnight and and we're just like sitting up here hanging out, and you know, it's something that is cultivated. You know, I'm from Alabama. My family's been in agriculture for a long time, so I believe in what you plant, giving it the love that it needs. So because it's not just the soil, it's not just the water, it's not just the sun, but everything that you put into that seed makes it grow. The love makes it grow, and the love and the respect and the fallings out and the disagreements sometimes. I mean, because it ain't perfect.
Happens. Business,
it happens.
Yeah, and you got to just take business, not personal.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you can't.
Grandma used to say, "Teeth and tongue fall out." You know, your teeth and your tongue will have a disagreement, and you'll bite your tongue. Yeah. So I think that with the people in this room, and you know, for her to mention the two people that we're investing with, I think, and I'm managing for, and she tutored and mentored. I think that
they use Vester.
And they use Vester. Oh my gosh.
Crowdfunding.
They use my crowdfunding form to raise the capital, or to raise some of the capital for the deal. And so to seeing that all of these things come to fruition, and you know, I was talking to some students yesterday. It was actually some Black students go to some HBCUs, and I was talking about hotel ownership, and the fact that, you know, that we're talking about it and they were listening. And if we could just change one person, you know, to make their lives easier, because we didn't really have we've been creating our own roadmap. Yeah. Each of us have
you need the blueprint now.
Exactly. Yeah. And so the fact that, you know, now I have, you know, little girls that tell me this, their mom sent me an inbox saying, you know, they did a history project on me. It's like, wait, what? You know, they talk about it at the dinner table. They're talking about it, as I mentioned before, you know, family reunions, and, you know, we make sure we all eat, because, you know, if we don't circulate it within our community, if we don't help each other out, then how, you know, we doing a disservice. And you know, as Dane was talking, I was thinking about, you know, my grandma and a lot of our grandmas, you know, at one point, not only could they not stay at a hotel, depending on the hotel and the color of their skin, especially if they were a little dark, they couldn't even work at the hotel.
Wow.
You know, my grandmother at my age, especially when I first started out, she couldn't even work at the hotel that was in her town.
Damn.
Not work. Like, usually
and that's not that long ago. When you think about it, people always act like it's been, oh, that's in the past, whatever. But it's not that. There's people alive today who experience that.
Yeah. And people forget that we actually own hotels. Like, Black, this is not something new. No, Black folks own hotels. We've been owning hotels since the late 1800s. And, you know, it was just, you know, they had to stay at Black-owned hotels during the Civil Rights Movement. And like Omari said, I'm going to give you credit for it. So Omari came up with that Black folks. We were originally the original folks at Airbnb, because during the Civil Rights Movement, and even prior to the Civil Rights Movement, in the Green Book, you know, it was folks' homes listed where they could stay, because we couldn't stay at you know, white-owned hotels or white-owned establishments. We could work there, but we couldn't stay there.
Yeah. And we traveled differently too.
We traveled differently, right? And so the fact that, you know, because of integration, it got lost, because now we wanted to stay at hotels where we couldn't stay at before, and a lot of those Black-owned hotels kind of shut down. So it's not new at all. But when I realized the amount of money that the hotel industry makes, and we are putting a lot of children's children through college, and I've seen it,
right?
And I'm like, well, why can't we do it?
Yeah.
And you know, my grandmother, she always told me to keep one paid off house in the family, so that way everybody always gonna have a place to stay. You know,
that's good advice. I'm with that.
I'm gonna take it to the next level. Keep a paid off hotel in the family. That way, not only will you have a place to stay, but you have a place to work.
Right.
So if you need some money,
and a place to make some money,
go ahead and clean some rooms.
Yeah. I got that loan for you. That $2,000 you need. Go ahead and knock out these 25 rooms.
For anybody listening, and if they're like, okay, I'm interested, what would you tell them is the first step figure out how can I get on this path to hotel ownership?
First, see what your bank account looking like. So talk to, because it's very expensive. So talk to your financial advisor to see if you can go on the path of owning or investing.
Okay.
Right. And so if, maybe you're not ready for owning because you probably figure starting off. That's on the low end, at least, right? On the low end to start off. But if you don't have that and your financial advisor, and the reason why I say talk to your financial advisor, because for one, I'm not a financial advisor and I don't know your personal situation, but, and then also investing in hotels has its benefits when it comes to taxes.
Okay.
Right. So that's why we always say talk to your financial advisor to see what works for you. But if you don't have that much, probably the most economical way to get started investing in hotels would be REITs. Real estate investment trust, and that's it's essentially kind of like investing in stock, or you can invest in
It's like
stock.
a piece of a hotel.
It's like a piece of a
Sliver
hotel.
equity, yeah.
So and you're not
Fractionals.
investing directly into the hotel. But if you want to invest directly into the hotel, finding
Investor.
folks like us. But the biggest thing, you go to investor.com.
Let them know.
ERR.com. And
the book.
And the
How
book.
to buy a hotel.
How to buy a hotel. Exactly. So, and then we talked about this, and actually I got this from Omari. I get a lot of my stuff from him. Because he's a professor at heart, but he talked about an ownership thesis. And, so finding out the basic things, what, when, where, how, who. So what kind of hotel you want to buy, where do you want to buy it? Why do you want to do it? Do you want to do it for cash flow? Do you want to do it for equity? So because hotels is a capital intensive, so it's not like something you kind of want to go just kind of jump in without the knowledge, and that's what I've noticed a lot too with the people of color who want to get in a hotel. I've met a lot of Black people with money.
Right.
I know a lot of Black people with money, and they got serious money, and they can buy a hotel probably in cash if they wanted to, right? But the biggest thing is, like Omari mentioned, and what we've realized as we've really gotten out there into the community, is the lack of education and knowledge that you can actually do it.
That's it.
So the biggest thing is, if you don't know how to do it, work with the consultant, work with someone that's in the industry. So don't get, your favorite residential broker to help you sell or help you buy a hotel.
It's different.
Because it's a different thing.
Yeah.
It's a different beast. You got to understand the business side, the value. It's just too complicated. So for the folks who really want to get into the hotel space, I would say start off with education, really understand the different type of brands, the type of markets, how to evaluate a hotel, all of those things that will help you be prepared, because as Omari mentioned, and I say this a lot and I've seen it firsthand, there's some predatory folks out there.
Yeah,
If
absolutely.
they know you a first-time hotel owner,
They will take advantage.
they will take
your
advantage
money.
of you.
They love it.
And then the contracts are longer. You're talking about 5-10-year contracts. And if you don't know what you're doing, it can be very expensive to get out of them.
And you're talking about, it was some of the entities, it's 20-year contracts. Right?
Sheesh.
Yeah. So if you don't know what you're doing, and that's why that's part of the equity and inclusion piece, right? When people start coming around the community and they're like, oh wait, we can kind of tell people anything. The fee should be this. If you don't have a point of reference, or your point of reference is not salient to what is general practice in hotels, and you think you're getting a good deal, and you start talking to other hotel owners, and you realize somebody just cut your head back to the white meat.
Right.
And did it with a smile, and you did not know what happened. And it happens just like that. And like a lot of exactly what Davonne said, people, you're not engaging the right folks.
Yeah, because hotels is basically you're buying a franchise.
Yeah.
So a
Operating
lot of
business
times
on real
people
estate,
don't realize
franchise
that.
model.
When people think of entrepreneurs, I see this a lot. They think of entrepreneurship. They thinking I can come up with this idea and take it from ideation to execution. Okay, how about you?
I want a
just
boutique
buy into
hotel.
Right. I want to. Or how about you?
You're laughing like, good luck.
It's expensive.
Yeah.
That's crazy expensive. But buying into a franchise is also you becoming so you're buying the business and you're buying the real estate. That's why it's sexy to a lot of real estate investors, because of that, owning the business and the
the real
nightly
estate.
rates. The night, see, with multifamily, it's
It's static.
it's static, 6 to 12 month lease. With a hotel, guess what? The Super Bowl coming, you can jank them rates all the way up. You know what I mean?
We've
If
seen
it's
that happen.
New Year's Eve, New Year's Eve in New York, I don't even want to know what the rate is because I know it's crazy. And then the next day,
2-night minimum.
It's back to
it's back to normal. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's
like going to Essence Fest.
Exactly.
That's a fact.
And
Make
you're
your
like,
money
how
for the
come it's
quarter.
so expensive? I was just here.
Yeah.
So,
Revenue management.
Exactly.
That is revenue.
So that's
Shout
why a
out
lot
to
of folks, including us, why we invest in hotels and take advantage of the tax benefits. My biggest thing is I love the discounted rates, discounted room rates, being the owner. That's because I don't work in a hotel anymore, so I don't get those benefits. So I was like, man, I need to do something about this.
My producer Dan, we was in Dallas and they upgraded my room to the presidential suite. When I tell you I was about to squat. I was like, I'm not leaving here. It's amazing in this hotel. I was about to move to Dallas in that room. But, this has been a great crash course, but I feel like people need to follow each one of you if they want to get started on their journey, or maybe, later on down the line, know who are some credible people in this hotel industry. So let's give our information. Damon, let's start with you, where people can find you.
You can find me on Instagram at Hotel Guru, GURU 1906. And obviously you can look up our company at www.synergyhospitalitygroup.com.
Okay. All right. Omari?
Omari Head on Instagram at Hip Hop Hotel Broker.
Okay. Davonne?
Davonne Reaves. I'm on Instagram. You can find me on LinkedIn. And you can also go to Vester.com, which is VESTERR.com. And I want to thank you, Angela, for bringing us on. This is history right here, to have a Black-owned hotel management company, to have a Black hotel broker who's transacted over $1 billion in sales, and to have one of the few Black female hotel owners. So I just appreciate you so much.
All right. Shopping with your tribe. Ain't that what we do?
Trap it out with your
Shopping out
tribe.
with your tribe. All right. Well, thank y'all so much. This has been amazing. All right. And I know this has been a long time coming. I'm glad we were able to get it done. And
You're a woman of your word.
I'm definitely following the journey always.
I'm just saying, when we girl, watch out. Stay tuned. Her coffee about to be in somebody's hotel.
I know that's right. Way up.